You are listening to Still Within, where Stoic stories become your quiet companion through the night. Here, ancient wisdom is not distant marble, but a living voice that sits beside you, reminding you that peace is never far. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, we will walk together into the gentle embrace of philosophy. Not to think harder, not to wrestle with ideas, but to loosen the grip of worry and discover the calm that has always been waiting within you. The night is a curious thing. For some, it is a time of rest, of dreams, of release. For others, it is the stage where every anxious thought rehearses its lines again and again. Perhaps you have felt it, the way the world grows quiet and yet your mind grows louder. The bills that must be paid, the work left undone, the words you wish you had spoken, the uncertain future that seems to press itself against your chest. In the daylight, these thoughts feel manageable, blurred by tasks and noise. But at night they gather, persistent, demanding, as if darkness itself sharpens them. You are not alone in this. 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius confessed in his meditations that he too struggled with restless thoughts. Imagine, the ruler of the known world, draped in purple, sitting awake in the cold silence of a palace chamber, whispering to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Even an emperor could not control the storms outside, but he could learn to release the storm within. This is the wisdom we will dwell upon tonight, that much of life cannot be controlled. And yet peace is not lost, for peace is not found in control. Peace is found in release. Peace is found in remembering that our task is small and simple, to keep our hearts steady in a world that is not ours to command. So, as you lie back, as the weight of your body begins to sink deeper into the bed, allow these words to guide you. Think of them not as lessons to memorize, but as a slow tide washing against the shore, smoothing the sand, carrying away the sharp stones that cut your feet. Each wave takes something from you, not something you need, but something you were never meant to carry. Tonight we will let philosophy walk with us into the night. We will learn from Marcus, from Epictetus, from Seneca, but most of all we will learn from silence, the kind of silence that teaches us the difference between what is ours and what is not. Release begins here. Think for a moment about how much of your worry comes from things outside your hands. We replay conversations in our minds, hoping to rewrite them. We stare into the future, convinced that enough thinking might bend it to our will. We ache for certainty in a world that has never once promised it. And in this constant reaching, in this endless tug-of-war with the uncontrollable, our nights grow heavy. The Stoics named this burden clearly. They called it the dichotomy of control, the simple truth that some things are up to us and others are not. At first glance, it sounds obvious, even trivial, but beneath its simplicity lies a freedom so profound that it can transform the restless night into a sanctuary of calm. Epictetus, once a slave who earned his freedom and became a philosopher, put it like this: some things are in our control and others are not. Within our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever are our own actions. Not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in a word, whatever are not our own actions. Imagine a man who has tasted the chains of slavery, who has lived at the mercy of another's command, standing before his students and declaring, "Even in bondage, my mind is free, for no one can chain what belongs to me. My choices, my judgments, my inner life." That is the kind of freedom no emperor can grant and no tyrant can take. But what about us? Why, if this truth is so powerful, do we continue to suffer under the weight of what we cannot control? Perhaps because control feels like safety. We believe that if we can manage every detail, predict every outcome, protect ourselves against every uncertainty, then maybe, just maybe, we will be spared pain. And so we cling, even as the rope burns our hands. Yet the Stoics remind us, the more we try to master what is not ours, the more enslaved we become. And the more we accept what lies beyond us, the lighter we feel. Think of it as carrying two backpacks. One is light, filled with what belongs to you, your thoughts, your choices, your values. The other is impossibly heavy, filled with what does not belong to you. The opinions of others, the twists of fate, the future itself. Night after night you pick up both. No wonder sleep resists you. No wonder your body aches. Tonight we will practice setting down the heavier pack, not because it is easy, not because it disappears forever, but because you were never meant to carry it alone. You may set it down and walk on with only what belongs to you. And as you do, you may notice the first signs of release. Your breath slowing, your shoulders softening, your mind beginning to ease. For even here in this quiet room, you carry less than you thought. You are lighter than you believed. Picture Rome at night nearly 2,000 years ago. The empire is vast, stretching across continents, yet under the stars it feels fragile. At the edges, enemy armies gather. Inside the cities, plague spreads like a shadow through crowded streets. In the palace, torches flicker along cold stone halls, and the air smells faintly of smoke and oil. Somewhere within, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius lies awake. The weight of the empire rests on his shoulders, but it is the weight of his own mind that keeps him from sleep. We often imagine emperors as untouchable, surrounded by luxury, commanding armies, secure in their power. Yet Marcus's private writings tell another story. In his meditations, he reveals the heart of a man struggling not with enemies but with himself. He writes, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." Notice the intimacy in those words. He is not issuing an edict for others to obey. He is speaking to himself, almost whispering into the night. These were notes never meant to be published, reminders from a restless mind to its own restless heart. That is what makes them powerful. They are not philosophy written to impress. They are philosophy written to survive. Imagine Marcus sitting by a dim candle, parchment before him, scratching words into the page while the palace outside lies silent. Perhaps he hears the distant footsteps of guards, or the cough of a servant in the hall, yet his thoughts are not on them. They are on the storms of his mind, the worries about the future, the regret of choices made, the unbearable sense that so much is outside his command. What he discovered and what he shares with us is a truth that echoes across centuries. We suffer more from our judgments than from the events themselves. The war at the border may not disturb you as much as your fear of what it means. The illness in the city may not weigh as heavily as the story your mind spins about its arrival at your door. Even your personal worries, your work, your relationships, your uncertain future do not wound you directly. It is the anxious commentary of the mind repeated endlessly that sharpens the blade, and so Marcus counsels himself. Shift the judgment, and the pain loosens. It is not denial. He does not tell himself that war will vanish, that plague will be cured, that life will become gentle. He accepts that the outer world will remain turbulent, but inside there is a chamber of calm, and only he can guard its door. Consider this. One of the most powerful men in history, who commanded legions and ruled nations, found himself awake at night, writing words not of command but of comfort. His greatness was not that he controlled the empire, but that he struggled, like us, to control himself. That he recognized power does not silence worry. Philosophy does. This is why Marcus remains a companion across time. His words were never meant for an audience, yet here you are, centuries later, hearing them as if they were addressed directly to you. When you lie awake with thoughts that refuse to rest, remember, you share this experience with emperors. The same sleepless hours, the same restless questioning, the same longing for peace. So let his words be your own tonight. Whisper them gently. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let the sentence fall like a slow breath. Let it dissolve the illusion of control, leaving only the quiet truth. You need not master the world to find rest. You need only release the thought that you ever could. In this release, there is freedom. In this freedom, there is sleep. Long before Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, another Stoic thinker walked the streets of Rome, Lucius Annaeus Seneca. He was a statesman, a tutor to emperors, and at times a man caught in political storms that threatened his very life. Yet beyond the noise of politics, Seneca wrote letters to his friends. In them, he often returned to one theme: how the mind itself is the greatest source of suffering. One of his most haunting lines is this: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think of that. The disasters that keep us awake at night are most often the ones that have not happened. You may lie in bed staring at the ceiling and your mind begins to cast shadows. It imagines a future conversation gone wrong. It pictures a loss that has not arrived. It invents scenarios one after another, until the body tenses as though the dangers were real, and yet they are not. Seneca knew this well. He saw how imagination could become a tyrant, ruling more harshly than any Caesar. He wrote, There are more things, Lucilius, likely to frighten us than there are to crush us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. These words, sent to a friend centuries ago, still echo with precision today. How many of your nights have been claimed not by reality, but by the shadows of what might be? To listen to Seneca is to notice how your mind behaves in the dark. The room is still, the world quiet, and yet your imagination rushes to fill the silence. It spins stories. It paints futures in colors of fear. It magnifies small uncertainties until they loom like giants. This is the trick of the mind. It seeks control by imagining every possible outcome as if rehearsing might protect you. But instead of protection, it only steals your rest. What Seneca offered was not scorn, but clarity. He did not shame his friend for worrying. He simply illuminated the difference between real suffering and imagined suffering. And by naming that difference, he opened the door to freedom. For when you see that half your pain is born not of life but of thought, you can let go. You can say, this has not happened. This is not real. This is a shadow, and I need not wrestle with shadows. So tonight, as you lie in your bed, recall Seneca's wisdom. When your mind begins to invent its dark theater, step gently into the role of the observer. Watch the play without stepping onto the stage. Notice the scenes rise and fall. Notice that they are only scenes. And as you notice, you may feel the body soften, the breath lengthen, the curtain fall. Seneca reminds us that peace is not the absence of fear, but the recognition of its illusions. And once you recognize illusion, you need not fight it. You need only let it dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Close your eyes and whisper, I suffer more in imagination than in reality. Feel how the words loosen the grip of your thoughts. Let them drift away, leaving you with only what is real in this moment. The softness beneath you, the quiet around you, the steady rhythm of your breath. Nothing more is needed. In this way, Seneca's wisdom becomes a lullaby, an ancient song reminding you that you are safe, that you are here, and that most of what troubles you belongs only to shadows. You are lying in bed, and perhaps your body is searching for rest. Your mind may still carry fragments of the day, unfinished conversations, memories of mistakes, or worries of what might come tomorrow. In moments like this, it helps to remember the words of Epictetus, a man who knew the weight of chains and yet discovered a greater kind of freedom than most people ever dream of. His story begins not in comfort but in captivity. He was born into slavery in the Roman Empire. He did not choose his master, nor the conditions of his life. His body was not his own. Even his ability to walk was hindered, for he lived with a crippled leg. By the standards of the world, he had no freedom, and yet he became one of the greatest teachers of freedom that philosophy has ever known. Epictetus taught that freedom does not lie in the power to control circumstances, but in the clarity to control how we meet them. His master could bind his body, could command his labor, could humiliate or dismiss him, but no one, Epictetus insisted, could reach into his mind without permission. No one could dictate the judgments he made about what was good or bad, nor steal away the quiet strength that comes from guarding one's own reason. In his words, you may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus himself can overpower my will. These are not the words of denial. They are the words of discovery. They point to a doorway, a threshold through which any person, slave or emperor, might step to find a new kind of freedom. A freedom that lives inside. Picture yourself standing before that doorway. On one side is the restless world with all its uncontrollable tides, the actions of others, the shifting of fortune, the judgments that people cast upon you. On the other side is the calm of acceptance, the silence of knowing where your true power rests. This threshold is not built of stone. It is built of awareness. Every time you choose not to wrestle with what lies outside your control, you are stepping through the doorway. Every time you release the grip of resentment, you are entering the inner freedom that Epictetus guarded like a treasure. This lesson matters tonight. As you lie in the quiet of your room, you cannot control the thoughts that may rise for a moment. A memory may visit, a regret may knock, an anxiety about tomorrow may whisper. To try to force them away only makes them stronger. But to meet them as Epictetus would, acknowledging them as visitors and then letting them pass, this is freedom. You are not the thought. You are the one who chooses how to greet it, how to let it go, how to remain still within yourself. Epictetus often told his students to practice each day by asking, what is mine and what is not? He knew that most of our suffering comes from confusing the two. We worry as though the universe depends on our command. But the truth is simpler and gentler. The weather, the economy, the opinions of strangers, even the moment of our death, these are not ours. They never were. What is ours is how we respond, how we speak, how we shape the small circle of our own choices. This and only this is freedom. Imagine how light you would feel if you carried only what was truly yours. Tonight can be your practice. With every breath you can whisper inwardly, "This is mine, and that is not." Breath by breath you can walk through the doorway that Epictetus discovered, and yet, freedom is not the cold silence of detachment. For Epictetus it was a warmth, a kind of inner dignity. He did not withdraw into bitterness. He laughed, he taught, he cared for his students with a fatherly spirit. To be free inside meant to be able to love more honestly. Because his love was not chained to outcomes, he could give himself fully, knowing that the result was beyond him. This too can guide you as you fall asleep. To love your life without clutching it. To love those around you without needing them to meet every expectation. To love the coming day without demanding it to unfold on your terms. In this way, you are already free. So let tonight be your quiet crossing through that doorway. Imagine the door opening gently. Step into the stillness. Step into the space where you no longer argue with what you cannot change. Step into the freedom that Epictetus found, the freedom no chains can break. And as you close your eyes, let that freedom be the last thought you hold. You are free because you have learned to release. You are here, resting in the quiet space of your evening. The world outside your window may still be awake. But within these walls, you are safe, sheltered, and free to release the weight of the day. Tonight, as we draw closer to sleep, let us follow a gentle practice. A practice of letting go, guided by the wisdom of the Stoics, yet spoken in the calm rhythm of your own breath. Close your eyes or let them soften. Notice the air around you. Cool or warm, still or faintly moving, it does not matter. It is enough that you are aware. Bring your attention now to the steady rhythm of your breathing. Feel the rise of your chest, the gentle fall of your abdomen. Breath is the simplest proof that you are alive, and it requires no effort of yours to keep it going. Already here you can see the truth of Stoic wisdom. Life gives without demanding control. Breath comes and goes, and all you need is to receive it. As you continue to breathe, recall the words of Marcus Aurelius. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive. To think, to enjoy, to love. But tonight, let us turn his words toward the evening. Think of what a privilege it is to have lived this day, to have seen its moments unfold, to have learned from its challenges. Whether the day was light or heavy, joyful or difficult, it is now complete. It is no longer in your hands. As Marcus would remind us, you cannot call back what has passed, and you cannot control what tomorrow will bring. What you can do is close your day with gratitude and step gently into rest. Let us begin with the body. Notice where tension hides, perhaps in your shoulders, your neck, your hands. Imagine the Stoic practice of distinguishing what belongs to you and what does not. The tightness you carry is often not yours. It belongs to the unfinished tasks, to the words left unsaid, to the concerns of others. Let it slip away with each exhale. Feel your shoulders sink into the bed. Let your jaw soften, your brow release. With every breath, you are stepping away from what is not yours to hold. Now turn to your thoughts. A memory from today may rise, perhaps something you wish had gone differently. See it, name it gently in your mind, and then imagine placing it in the stream of a river. Watch as the water carries it away. You do not need to chase it, you do not need to hold it. The Stoics knew that clinging to regret is a form of illusion. Epictetus would remind you, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Tonight, you can choose a new judgment. You can choose to say, this moment has already ended and it cannot touch me now. And so you let it go. Another thought may come, this time about tomorrow. Responsibilities, uncertainties, perhaps even hopes. Notice how the mind tries to run ahead. Smile at this impulse, for it is only human. And yet remember Seneca's advice. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. These imagined burdens are shadows, not substance. Place them gently beside the memory you released and let the river carry them too. You do not need to carry tomorrow tonight. Your only task is rest. Pause for a moment in the quiet. Notice how light your mind feels, like a sky where clouds have drifted away. You may still sense a thought or two passing, but now you know. They are only visitors. They arrive and they leave. You are the sky itself, not the clouds. You are still within. As you rest in this clarity, bring to mind a simple phrase. Whisper it inwardly with each breath. I release what I cannot control. Breathe in, feel the peace of acceptance. Breathe out, let go of what was never yours to command. Again, I release what I cannot control. Repeat it as a rhythm, like the soft turning of waves. Let the phrase anchor you deeper into calm. Now imagine yourself in a room lit by candlelight. The flame burns steadily, undisturbed by the night outside. This flame is your inner strength, quiet, unwavering, sheltered within. Around you, the room is simple, with nothing unnecessary. You realize you need very little to feel at peace. A bed, a flame, your breath, and the wisdom that you are already free. This vision is not far away. It is here now in your own space. The candle is your heart. The stillness is your mind, and the night is your companion, not your enemy. Stay in this vision for as long as you wish. Know that the flame will not go out even when you sleep. The wisdom of the Stoics does not vanish with dreams. It carries you, it protects you, it reminds you that you are not at the mercy of the world. You are at home within yourself, safe, still, free. So, as your body grows heavier and your breath softer, let yourself drift. You are releasing the day. You are releasing the worries. You are releasing even the effort to stay awake. And in this release, you discover the greatest gift, the peace of being alive here and now without needing to hold on. You are ready for sleep. You are ready to rest, guided by wisdom, held by stillness. Tonight, and every night, you can step through the doorway to freedom. And when morning comes, you will rise renewed, carrying only what is yours, light enough to live with strength and joy. The night is deepening, and so is your stillness. You have walked beside Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. You have heard their wisdom, not as distant voices from the past, but as quiet companions in this present moment. Each of them offered you the same truth in different forms, that freedom does not come from the world outside, but from your response within. Marcus reminded you to live with acceptance, to let go of what is past and to stand calmly before what will come. Seneca revealed the secret that most of our suffering arises from imagination, shadows cast upon the walls of the mind. Epictetus opened the door to freedom, showing you that serenity begins when you release the illusion of control. These lessons, though written centuries ago, now rest gently in your own heart. And what do they tell you? That tonight you are safe, that tonight you are free to rest, that the worries that chased you into bed do not belong to you anymore. They were always illusions, and illusions dissolve in the presence of truth. The truth is this: you have done what you could with this day. You have lived it, felt it, learned from it. Now the day is finished, and in its place arrives the gift of rest. As you lie here, notice how the body feels. Heavy, warm, softened by release. Notice the rhythm of your breathing. Steady, slow, a tide that carries you inward. Your mind may still offer a thought or two, but you now know how to greet it. You see it arrive, you let it pass, and you return to stillness. This is the practice of the Stoics, not in books or speeches, but here, in the quiet act of letting go. In this moment, you are practicing what they lived. You are proving their wisdom not through words, but through the calm of your own heart. And as you drift toward sleep, you embody their teaching. That peace is not given by fortune or fate, but chosen by the soul. So let yourself drift further. Picture once more the candlelight, the steady flame undisturbed by wind or darkness. It is you, your inner flame, your unshaken self. Around you, the night is vast, but within you there is warmth, clarity, and strength. That is all you need to carry. That is all you ever needed. Now listen closely. Beyond the philosophy, beyond the stories, there is a softer truth. You are enough. As you are here and now, breathing in and breathing out, you are enough. No achievement can add to your worth tonight. No mistake can take it away. This is your sanctuary. This is your freedom. This is your peace. At Still Within, we believe that these stories are not just lessons of history. They are lanterns for the present, small lights to guide you through the shadows of worry and into the quiet of rest. If tonight you found calm, if these voices from the past have helped soothe your own, consider carrying this light forward. Share it, keep it, return to it whenever you need. And if you wish, let this channel be your companion, returning again and again to remind you of what you already hold inside: stillness, wisdom, and freedom. For now, though, there is nothing more to do. No action to take, no burden to hold. The night itself is carrying you, gently like a ship on calm waters. All that remains is to surrender, Surrender not in defeat but in trust, the deepest kind of trust that life will move as it must and that you can rest within it. So breathe in once more. Whisper to yourself, I release what I cannot control. Breathe out and let it go. Again, breathe in, I am safe in this moment. Breathe out and let yourself fall deeper into rest. The words are not magic. They are reminders. Reminders that you already know the truth deep within. Soon, sleep will come. Let it arrive as a gentle tide rising and folding over you. Do not chase it. Do not demand it. Simply let it come, the way morning comes after night, without effort, without force. Trust that it will arrive because it always does. And as you drift away, remember this. The world will still turn, the stars will still shine, and you will awaken renewed. But for now, you are invited to remain here, still quiet, safe within. This is your night. This is your peace. This is your freedom. Sleep well, dear listener. Until next time, remember, you are still within.